Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. EEG. All go. All systems go. Sound system. All go. All systems go. Twitch Studio. All go. All systems go. HTTP over screen. All go. IP. Check. Check. CPU speed. Everything's checking. Everything is go. Everything is go. 1 minute 32. Okay. All systems. All systems. And let's do the countdown now. The last final countdown from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Here we go. And we're going to go to gameplay in 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we are in there. We have liftoff. We are going to do the lead chess with the brainwaves. And it's going to be, I think, a momentous experience because today, those of you who don't know, is second day of the year after the big holidays. So it means the brainwaves are on and they are active. And we got beeping all over the place from different directions, which is a good sign, very, very good sign. And without any more ado, we don't have any, well, we do have a chatter here, so yeah, okay, good to see you, man. Why don't we just hang in there? You can challenge me if you want to, but I'm just going to do a casual game here. I was waiting for more viewers to show up for the really hot chat that we normally get every night. I'm going to play a queen's game here. Kind of taking it, playing it by ear here a little bit. We'll see what happens. I gotta pay attention because I could lose this really easily if I'm not careful. Just kind of developing my pieces. Buttress that guy in the center a little bit. He might need it, and we can already make that move. I don't know. It's just kind of like one of my game plan things. Yeah, I'll analyze one. I don't really know what a game of minds is though. Oh, a game of yours. I was thinking like you were talking about like Minefield. I could analyze Minefield, but sure, I'd be glad to analyze a game of yours. I'm kind of like the Sigmund Freud of chess, like something like analyzer of. I wanted to take that with my queen, but okay. I'm gonna get my queen out from behind that. I kind of like made the wrong move there, but that was a mouse slip. But I didn't lose any pieces or anything. I just ended up with a slightly different um, configuration than I thought. And his queen is out and giving me a little bit of trouble. Oh boy. Guess I'll just come out here, another one, and we'll just finish this game. Then we're going to do a little analysis here. chess analysis. I don't like that queen on that white diagonal, so I'm going to get him off that diagonal. And now let me see if, yeah, that's looking better now. I'm going to come in here. I can almost get away with this, but not quite. If he takes me, crap. Thought I could do this, but it's like one thing missing from my setup. I'm just going to do a waiting move because I don't want the clock to go down too much, which was kind of like a bad idea probably. I just took my knight. I don't know what's happening here. Did I lose something there? I guess I did. I am not playing too well here today, I guess. Um, really don't know what to do now. I'm gonna come up here and see what happens. This is a big game of the night, and kind of looks like I'm sort of like losing it. Hopefully it won't be too bad though. Um, it looks bad. Oh boy. I guess I'm gonna lose this game big time. Like losing pieces left and right. Don't know how I could lose them faster. All I can do is hope for something. Hopefully it's possible that his modem goes out. That's been happening a lot less lately than it used to. Used to be that people's modems would fail, but I guess they're making better modems nowadays. A long time ago, you could just kind of hang out hoping that you'd have some internet failure or something, but nowadays, wow, this is a kind of a weird game. I don't know why, I guess I'm not doing too bad in material. I got a queen and a rook against. He was up there before, wasn't he? I think he's going to take my rook finally, and then I'll have a queen and a rook against a queen and a rook. I don't know what to do. If he takes one of those rooks, what I'm going to do. Ooh, he took one of them. It looks like the safest move is this one. I keep the rook protecting the queen over there on that side. That was good. Don't have a lot of things I can do. I'm gonna kind of like do a kamikaze thing here, lose this game, because I want to kind of like get into this. We're going to analyze a game here from a viewer, and I want to get into that. What's going to happen now? I don't know. I guess I can interpose this rook. Just finish this game. I don't like to stop without actually finishing. Um, can I just like try to escape with the rook a little bit or something? I'll go over here and see. I just escape with the king a little bit. And okay, now I get over here to this square over here. It's just not looking very promising for me. He's got a checkmate there, I guess. I'll have to just defend best I can. Okay, I gotta get the queen and the rook kind of like coordinated here. It's about my only choice. What's that gonna happen? Thinking about taking that pawn, I guess. I think it's gonna be checkmate now. He can bring his rook down here and then take this pawn. there's nothing I can really do. I mean, I can do that, and I protect the pawn through the queen in that case. If he takes my rook, I take his rook. So well, that's kind of like a little protection, I guess you could say. Except I want to analyze this game. Pro noob, yeah, I'm a pro noob, so I gotta do this from pro noob. Um, I don't know. No, I'm just gonna resign because he's got too many pawns. I'm gonna resign because with all those pawns, it's finished. Okay, you still there? Let's do the analysis. A game of minds, Minefield, Microsoft Minefield. Hey, did you hear somebody beat Tetris this week for the first time in history? That was pretty amazing. They made it to the last screen, like 137 screens. Okay, here we go. We got a game here to analyze. This is going to be great. Going to analyze this in real time with the brainwaves. Wait a second. Wait, I got to get the brainwaves back. Just hold on just a second here. Because without brainwaves, we kind of don't have a channel here. I mean, sure, it's an interesting channel even without the brainwaves, you might say, but it's not half as interesting without the brainwaves, I don't think. This is one of my. Oh, this is one of your best games. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. It's always nice to have one like that. So let's take a look at this game by I'm a Pro Noob. That's it's a pretty cool name. I mean, it's something like a noob pro, right? A pro noob. So let's do it. So here is, I guess you're playing black in this game, right? And do I have my brainwaves up there? Let me just check, make sure that they're looking good. Does everybody see my brainwaves? Just chime in there if you don't see them because I got my Twitch studio open right now and to save on lag time, I don't have like an expensive computer. I guess it's on. I have to I have to lay the board over my Twitch studio. Let me look on my cell phone. I got a cell phone here and I can check. Let me see, Steinitch Live. Oh yeah, I got the board up there and the brainwaves. Good. Okay, so let's do this. Great, you can see it. Okay, I'm just going to put a little message here because it gives me one more chatter. Thanks, I'm going to say thanks. Okay, let's do it then. We're all set. Okay, so it's getting hot in here. You know, when the sun goes down where I live, for some reason it gets hotter. I don't understand. I don't understand the physics of that. How do you get more infrared waves coming in the window when the sun goes down? But it's dark here, and suddenly it starts getting like really warm. Is there any physicists out there that understand about either radiation, like solar radiation, or things like thermodynamics that can tell me why this room gets hotter after the sun goes down? Maybe my neighbor's growing marijuana or something. He puts his lights on at night. I don't know. So let's go here. I'm gonna start clicking through. See what we got. Oh, well, that's an interesting first move by White. This is great. You're just looking at the leeches here, the stockfish. You did an excellent game. Three inaccuracies, kind of spaced out in different places, but inaccuracies are no big deal. Sometimes they make the game better for you by making things a little bit edgy. And zero mistakes, zero blunders. Your opponent also had a really good game. Only one blunder, a couple of mistakes, and it was a long game. So let's take a look at this. This is so far it's a kind of a standard opening, right? You guys are doing kind of some transpositions here, but I don't see anything that move there is you lost a little bit there in terms of stockfish, but obviously you worked your way out of it. Normally you just, I don't know why you don't take, but you can take. Obviously you took and won the game, right? Okay, and then the bishop came back. This is an interesting game. It looks very similar to a lot of games I've seen, except that bishop is there, and then he comes down, kicks your knight out with his pawn. And look at this. On the opening, you've got an edgy opening. And white's not ahead very much. Less than a half, less than one pawn. He's up 0.8 right now. I don't know if you can read that where you are. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's all right. If you got to go in 5 minutes, that's all right. I'm going to keep analyzing this in any case. Okay, pawn takes a pawn. Knight comes in. The bishop was there to stop it. That's great. Um, you moved your rook back. Stockfish is saying to move the pawn up. The rook was defended by the queen. I understand your thinking that you might want to. Was this a fast game? How many minutes was this game? Let me see. Oh yeah, it was a fast game. That's why you moved your. You've only got 2 minutes on your clock, and you didn't want to sit there thinking about your possibly hanging rook out there. So we brought him back to the back row. Okay, that looks really good. Activating the knight. Yeah, you moved your pawn up. To me, that looks good. Why not? Get him up there. And okay, now it's 0-0 on both sides. It's going to be interesting to see what you did to really change this into your favor. Okay, the pawns are coming up, but you took the pawn. He's got one more pawn there and then you took that. So basically, that's where it was, right there. Those exchanges is what put you ahead. Like, I'm just going to click back a little bit. He had, he took there. You took there. Still is still equal. It's still equal. And right here, Stockfish is saying to bring the bishop all the way out. And he brought the bishop attacking a rook, which also looks like a good move. But wow, it really made a difference. Suddenly, you're 2 pawns ahead because of that. Um, that was amazing. And now that was a little bit of an iffy move. That was one of your inaccuracies. You had 3 inaccuracies, and that was just one of them. But to me, it looks like a good move. You're already thinking about the end game. You're getting your king toward the center. The knight is protecting this. I wonder what Stockfish wanted to do. Let me just go back so we can. Oh, the Stockfish was saying, yeah, but that's weird. I can understand completely why you moved your king up. And that's a iffy move for him again. This is kind of like almost an end game now, right? With these pieces maneuvering around, it doesn't look like anybody's going to get a checkmate or any combinations. It looks like a case of you moving up your pawns, these 2 pawns, because you're ahead here. If you can move those up, you'll get your queen like you want. Now he took that. Wow, but now you're up 4. And I can understand why you're up 4. These pawns look very well protected. This one's protected. I mean, yeah, this one's protecting him, and then this one you can probably protect really soon with your rook. Yeah, good. I was figuring you would do that. And now you're protecting that pawn again, and now you can start advancing these pawns, right? Imagine that's what you did, or did you bring this one up first? Let's see. Okay, you started to advance those pawns. Yeah, and then the pawn comes up. and it's protected. Looks like you're doing this very mechanically according to logical plan. He's got two rooks attacking your pawn. You got two rooks defending it. These pawns are really not going to do anything really fast. So as long as you got these two, and he can't bring his king over fast enough, you got two defenders on that pawn, and then if you can do something to bring these pawns up, let's see how you do that. It doesn't look easy to bring those up. Chess is never easy because your opponent always is trying to beat you, and it would be easy if you didn't have a dedicated opponent. Oh, and he did bring the king over. So basically he can take it. He can exchange everything right here now because he's got three pieces. You've got two. Wow. And then his king is going to be closer to these pawns. We can just count it down like you moved your pawn, you moved your rook back. Now if he takes you and then you take him, and then he has a king there, and then you move this pawn up. He moves his king over here, you move your pawn up again. He's gonna be able to outrace your pawn, right, with his king. Well, maybe that was a big no, it doesn't. He didn't drop anything there. Okay, now you're bringing your king up closer. It looks like he's getting some action over there on that king side now. It's just kind of like a race here with those pawns. I was thinking you were going to bring that one up kind of soon. Then you can protect him. You're playing very carefully. Very, very good. Solid. Really solid on that side. This is an excellent game, by the way, of how to just get kind of a small advantage and just milk it out, advancing the pawns. They're protecting one another, protecting the pawn in the center. Okay, he trades rooks. And this is all over because one of these two pawns is going to win. If he tries to come here and protect this, then this one just advances. If you take here, he queens. And if you come over here to block this one, and with this one here, and then this one goes up, makes a queen, the rook takes it, and then this one comes down. So with those two advanced pawns, it's all over. The king comes over, queen comes down, and that pawn is going to queen. All right, excellent. That's you're calling yourself a pro noob, but that was played like a real pro. That was extremely well done. In the beginning of the game, I didn't spend a lot of time in analyzing that because you see a lot of games like that and they're just so intricate. Unless you go into them looking like 8 plies into the future, it's hard to know exactly what's going on. You guys were both playing really close up through here, and this is where you just started with your strategy of bringing your pawns down. So that's basically a game about how to advance pawns. Very good. I was glad you brought that tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the analysis as much as I did. So, okay, without any more to do or any more ado, let's head back over and I'll play another game with real time because I need to get a little bit more brainwave data. Brainwaves are right up here. We got delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma tonight. And for those of you who haven't seen my channel before, those are my actual brainwaves. They're broadcast out of my skull into some gel, and then across the gel into this band. It's called a Muse2 EEG band that somehow measures them and then sends them to my cell phone. And then my cell phone has a program called Mind Monitor. And the Mind Monitor generates those waves and then they're broadcast over a thing called screen over screen stream screen over HTTP, and they appear in Twitch. So that's the entire process if you're wondering. So let's go back to Let's go back and see. Let's do another game. And because I want to get some brainwaves, I keep winning all the time. Well, I lost that first one, but we got to get more, so, a little bit more, losing. But I don't like to lose. It's kind of like throwing the game just for the brainwave, um, just for the brainwave aspect. And I really don't want to do that. I'm going to make my screen just a little bit bigger here until we analyze this because I can see it a lot better. Okay, I'm going to do the King's Gambit like I almost always do as white, and we can watch my brainwaves as we're clicking through. Um, brainwaves are looking a little bit spread out. They're not all bunched up like they get in some games. It's interesting that my alpha is riding pretty high. I guess what happened there? I don't know. Chickened out. Well, it's not that they chickened out. I shouldn't say that. A lot of people just don't like to play because when you're on Lead Chess and you're playing, I'm streaming, and then they say, oh, they got, they don't. People don't want to necessarily play a streamer game. So this is a Carol Can. We're playing the black now, and generally a good thing to do is bring that bishop out. Seems like a good thing to do. Because I want to bring this pawn up, and I don't really need the bishop over here, I don't think. Every once in a while I get surprised and I need that bishop over there, but kind of think, okay, I'm going to move this up because I'm going to bring this bishop up here and put the question to that one there and see. Now he's going to take my knight, but I can do this as a developing move. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to take my knight. He can take my knight. Now this knight can come here, or what happened? Ah, he resigned. I don't know. I think he had to go. He wasn't. Oh, I was just gonna. I see why he resigned. He left his bishop hanging, and I didn't even see it. So the guy kind of like resigned unnecessarily because I was just thinking, well, my bishop is protected, no problem. I'll bring out my knight, and then suddenly he resigned. So let's check out the brainwaves. I would have liked to have been paying more attention. I was like trying to figure out suddenly. I got a little bit flabbergasted there when he resigned, and I forgot to check the brainwave pattern. Now, when they move that out, I just normally take it. Taking that pawn usually is the way to go. Now, if you protect it with this pawn, you can bring your knight up behind. We can look later on Stockfish to see if that is a good move or not. And it might not be the best move. But it is a gambit, by the way, so it doesn't matter if we, don't do so excellently. I don't know, I might just take that thing. Like, I lose a little bit of time and everything, but who knows if he's going to be able to capitalize on it. Okay, I'm going to bring the knight out because I'm going to reserve this bishop to maybe it's going to have to kind of like block right here. And I'm going to get my king out of the middle. It doesn't look too safe out there right now. Ooh, wow, what is that? Okay, so I can come here. He comes up here, checks me. I got to go over in the corner, right? Hmm. It doesn't look like so great for me. I don't know. I'm just going to do that and see what happens. I mean, this also keeps his knight from coming up. No, I can take with the queen. I'm going to get my queen off the back row. Would like to bring this pawn up if I can. I'm trying to figure out a way to bring him up. He's going to have to move his bishop out of there. Now I can bring the pawn up, right? Because it's gotta see what that knight's going to do. Before I moved that pawn, I made sure this knight couldn't move with this discovery on the pawn, but I didn't see where the knight could really go and cause me any problems. So After just checking that knight move, I decided, yeah, that was the only place he could really go, but it doesn't really cause me any problems, right? I mean, can't I just fork him right there? Hmm. I don't know. I'm just going to try the fork and see. He's probably got some interesting attack, and that's what it was. But let me see if I can still pull this out a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to retake with my king right now because I want to keep my queen on this pawn. So I guess I lost a piece. No, I lost the exchange plus a pawn. That wasn't too good. That was kind of weak playing, but okay, let's see if we can pull this out still. Maybe we can win with the clock or something. There's a lot of ways to win a chess game. There's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Maybe he'll trade off and I'll have my king a little bit closer to the center. I think he's going to take this pawn. Okay, I'm going to bring my rook over. Yeah, this is good so far. We're doing all right. I mean, we don't have any of the normal stuff tonight. We're not analyzing a lot of games except for from the I'm a Pro Noob. That was a great game. I'll just look in here, see if I can get any interesting moves in. I mean, he's obviously going to take this pawn, but maybe I can get something happening over here. I mean, when you're down like I am, I'm down the exchange, and it might be best to just try to do something kind of edgy and see if it works. That didn't work at all. Okay, so the brain waves are getting really weak, and you can see from the pattern, um, kind of like I'm a little, I think I can see how you see how the beta got so flat there. It happens like that when I'm just kind of like losing and not getting like a lot of ideas. And then that was like a queen trade. But now I'm down on time. Like I'm back basically okay in terms of you can bring that pawn up, but I'll just bring this pawn back to here, and I still have a lot of people protecting that pawn. I'm going to keep the king over here because he's got the most pawns on this side that are going to advance. Maybe I'll just move the pawn up. Who knows if I'll have the ability to just move that pawn up. I mean, he can move his pawns up, obviously, but I'm going to have to bring the king back. And it's best to bring him over here protecting the pawn. The pawn is one of the things that are going to protect against this pawn advance. Oh, did he take? He took my knight. I was protecting my pawn, and then he took my knight. Okay, so now I'll go over here. I mean, I still got this thing here, but I don't know what I can do. I don't want to give him a long time to think. Oh, well, at least well, he's got a million pawns. This is kind of like worthless in a sense because I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna have to resign. Oh, you see how everything got bunched up right there together? Only the gamma stayed down below. That's like a kind of like a pattern of resignation, you might say. Okay, well, we did get the loss that we wanted in terms of the brainwave pattern. And I'm not going to analyze that because it was such a horrible game. We'll play another one and hopefully we'll have like a great game and be able to analyze it. Okay, it's going to be another Carol Can defense. I'm going to try to play this a little bit faster. That last one was really slow. I played it way, way, way too slow. And that's, I think, you give your opponent like a big advantage when you just give them a time advantage because they have all this time to think. And I'm just going to give them some stuff to think about over here and see if maybe if he takes that pawn, I'll retake with, and now he took over there so I can, when the bishop comes out, then this knight can come up very easily. Now that's a good one. What do I do against that, eh? I'm going to keep on this pawn and have time to bring a rook over. I lost a little bit of time there, by the way, but that shouldn't bother me too much. I'm going to just bring the rook over and see what happens. Oh, now he's got another one coming out. I don't know. I'll lose the castling privilege, but that's not too bad. I'll just bring the king up in here. Okay, so where's that thing gonna go? He can't go here because of the bishop. He can't go here because of the queen, or here because of the pawn. Can't really sacrifice anything here or do anything really great. I'm just gonna come over here and see what happens. I think I lost a pawn here. And we'll just see if there's anything tricky that I can get away with. What was that? I thought he was going to take that pawn up there. That was weird. He's doing a pawn advance, I guess. Hmm. I don't know. I'm going to bring the queen over there. I see something a little bit tricky. And depending on what he does, I'm just thinking I might be able to pull something out of this. Now I can't bring the bishop back on this side. I think it's probably going to be best over here in the corner because these pawns are going to advance. I want this bishop. Oh, wait a second. I didn't even see that. Wow, my brainwaves just flatlined. They flatlined when that happened. I gotta resign. Wow, complete flatline. Um, that was a huge blunder. Hopefully, the worst blunder of the night. But we did get some good brainwave. Did you see that? It was like a flat line, and then they stayed flat. Now they're coming back a little bit. So we'll do another opponent and see if we can win or at least get some good brainwave patterns. Okay, so when they do that, I just go ahead and take. And I've analyzed that on Stockfish afterwards, and Stockfish normally says it's okay to take that pawn. I bring that pawn up because I'm going to want to bring this bishop up to here now because I can't bring it farther out. So I'll put the question to that bishop, and if he takes my bishop, I'll take him with my queen. And now it looks like, I'm not having any problem castling. I got to castle quite quickly, which was nice. I'm going to develop my bishop and my knight in quick order. And now I'm just going to play a thing where I advance these kingside pawns. Because he's got all these pawns here kind of like blocked in there, and I don't think it's going to be like this huge problem. Now I got to just going to like try to break through this barricade of these two pawns here, and also open up this file for my rook. And if this works, it'll be pretty nice. Now I can force his rook out of there so I get a better attack on this pawn later. Now what's kind of cool is I can make his knight move and then bring this pawn up into here. Now I don't know if that's going to help me a lot, but those pawns will have like a stranglehold over there. Um, yeah, I'm going to do it. He'll maybe freak out, and now I got to decide if I want to take that or not. I think I'll take it because the pawns look stronger in this than if they were split up. And now, what now? How do I break through there? Is there any way? I don't know. I'm just going to not waste time. I'm going to, before I do that, I'm making sure he can't. And he can. He can come up there with that. I think it's better I come up here. I don't think he'll take that knight, because if he does, I'll take him with my pawn, and it looks like I got a better stranglehold. But he did. That frees up this pawn, maybe. Wow, that was good. He's attacking two pawns at the same time. So now what do? I should save that pawn as more important. Now he's going to come down and check my queen. And we'll see what can happen here. If I could just do something smart now. I haven't. See, I got these pawns up here, but there's no way to really use those to penetrate anywhere. I'm going to move this pawn up just because it helps me protect this square here. I can bring a rook over, and he's trading down. This knight's not really going anywhere. I think the best thing for me to do is bring him up over here. He wasn't going anywhere from here, and he's not going anywhere from there either. But now at least I can bring him back. In this position, he counteracts this knight over here and also protects this square. We can do some massive trades right here. Now if he takes my knight, I take his rook. I think he's going to have to trade me off for my rook. And it's just going to come down. I was going to say it's going to come down to an end game, but you see what he's doing? I'm going to take him. It'll be checkmate, where I'm going to get the same trade because now his king is in a really vulnerable position. Okay, so he's ahead on the clock. He's one pawn ahead. I want to protect that pawn. Got to move kind of fast. Now he's got my knight kind of stymied there. Would love if I could infiltrate this knight into here and take these pawns. Is that possible? I'm gonna go here. Now he's gonna take this pawn. Well, I think I'm gonna resign. Oh, there's the the same thing. The gamma riding really down low. The other one's kind of bunched up out there and doing some flatlining. So yeah, that's the resign. That's the resign pattern. I'm going to resign because the brainwaves don't lie. Wow, I'm just not doing very good here on the openings today. I'm getting kind of like beat, like worse than normal. But okay, it happens. Some days we win like crazy, other days we lose like crazy too. So today's a day, my day to lose like crazy, I guess. Oh, I just got some brainwave activity. That was auspicious. Did you guys see that? That was looking. I'm feeling better now. This actually might work into something. Brainwaves don't lie. They don't lie. This is incredible. I'm feeling good about this. If he takes that knight now, I'm gonna win a piece. You see that? I won that knight. You can't move that knight. Because look, I'm gonna get him again here, and he can't move that knight. That knight is in big trouble. So I finally won a game, and it was right. Look at the brainwaves patterns again. How high it was. It was so great. I'm gonna take the knight, or should I do something else smart? Like I can still take the knight, and I don't have to take the terrible check. I'm gonna come out there and protect that. I could have brought this over too. But maybe if I castle on this side, it's going to be really nice to have my rooks in line here. So I'm going to take the knight. I have to take it, or no, I don't have to take him yet, right? I could castle. If I castle, can he check me? No. I'm going to play this in a really kind of like a classy way, I think, because I can still take the knight later. He can't put me in check. If he could have put me in check, wouldn't have been able to take the knight, but there I can still take it. Okay, and now I got to get my queen out of here. I'm going to keep it kind of like over here on this king side. I'm going to go for this pawn with the two rooks. I'm going to already bring the queen out, threatening this pawn. And I'm threatening this pawn, by the way, too, because this pawn is pinned. So he maybe doesn't see that pin and sees this pawn. That was good. Suppose I bring my queen back now, I guess. What else can I do? Don't want to advance it up there anymore. Gotta have it back here a little bit. And now the king is coming out, right? That was something. Gotta figure something out here. Wow. I gotta get this attack going. Am I a piece ahead? Yeah. But he's got some pawns coming down over here, and yeah, I won his. You saw how I won his. Maybe I'll offer a queen trade. Take the king, and then come over here. Okay, now I can undouble my pawns. And now I should bring my rooks back over to this side because they're not doing anything over there. And this rook might be do me some good here. Kind of thought he would do that. I'm just going to bring him back here. I think that'll be a good defensive position. I think that's my best move. Then I don't have to get my king in check. He can't bring his rook down because my king's sitting there to attack that square, and I can bring my rook over to get a command again on that file. And because I still have the knight advantage, but he's got a lot of pawns over there. He's got 2 extra pawns than I do. In terms of time, we're doing okay. Now I'm gonna do maybe some trade downs on these pawns. Just looking at those pawns over there. If he wants to take that, he can. I'll let him take that. I'll do some trade downs over here. I better bring my king back. I was going to bring my king out, but just noticed that it's kind of dangerous. Bring the king out right now. Just kind of trading those down, and he'll probably try to, I have time to take this pawn because if he tries to come over here, I can come up here and check his king and his rook at the same time, winning his king and his rook. And if I bring the pawn up, bishop, and then I got that pawn. So that gives me a little better chance because now I got a pawn on this side that he's going to have to think about. Okay, I got to protect that. I think this is the safest one, or wait. I think it's safer here because when he advances that up, it was going to be bad. Wow. I might just lose that. I'm going to bring my knight over. I'm going to bring this pawn up. But I can't do it this move. I'm going to do it next move, though. I'm going to attack his knight. And then I got to get this pawn moving. I think it's my only way. My brainwaves are really stabilized right now because I'm not really. Okay, that'll block his knight from taking my pawn. I'm just going to move that pawn up. I got to go. I'm not going to sit around there any longer. I got to get that pawn activated. Okay, I'll move it out to. I'm going to support it with my king, maybe. Bring my king over here. Now he can check my king with his rook. I'm not sure that that's going to really help him too much. He did it. I'm going to bring him over here. Still got. This is an interesting ending, huh? I got to get a check on his king somehow. Just going to move that pawn up. Yeah, if he moves that pawn up now, I can take him. And I'm going to try to get this pawn moving up. Or I should have taken that pawn probably. He's got a million pawns now, by the way. Just going to take that pawn and hope for the best. I'm not going to be able to win this if I don't do the right move right now. I think he's going to win. He's got all these pawns. Just too many. No, there's too many pawns. There's just Just incredibly too many pawns coming up. Oh, and I ran out of time. Oh, wow. Look at I wasn't even paying attention to the brainwaves, but you see how scrambled they got in the gamma way down below? They were just like all scrambled up in the gamma way down below. So, again, I don't know. I suppose in chess we have kind of an objective measure to know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. Because if we were in life, people would be debating, well, do the brain waves go down and then you lose, or are you losing and then the brain waves go down? Well, here we got a pretty good measure. Well, not really though. Maybe the brain waves were down in small ways even at the very beginning of the game. Um, it's hard to say. And people say, well, suppose a person studies for, all the books and everything for 30 years and becomes a master. Are you going to say that he's winning because of his brain waves, or is he winning because of his study? But it could be that all that study is what he needs to get his brain waves up really good. And it could be that with the proper brain waves, you can win even without all that study. I mean, who's to say? That is basically has been my premise. We're going to do a King's Gambit here. I mean, we're converting into a Gambit now because he'll win a pawn here, I'm sure, but in the end, we are doing a Gambit, and that's the Gambit pattern you see right there, the Gambit brainwave pattern. Now it switched into another thing, but for a few moments there, it was definitely a Gambit brainwave pattern. Now they're dropping down. I don't know if they're dropping down to get ready for something or. Wow. I think maybe there's some possibility over here on the king side right now, so I'm going to go for it. Really, really, really going to go for it. Okay, he took me there. Now you can take with the bishop, or I can take with the rook. I better take with the bishop because I can see a problem here with this pawn. If I take with the rook, he'll bring his knight to there. And he would attack my rook here, but now I'm going to have to bring my king. What is that? That was weird. I'm going to take with this. Why not? And is he going to take that pawn with his knight? I don't know. It's hard to predict. What's going to happen? Does he have something up his sleeve? I do have something up mine. I'm going to come up here threatening checkmate. I mean, it's not exactly checkmate. If I take the pawn, his king comes over, but I don't want to waste a lot of time on the clock, and I got to get my queen off the back row, and it looks pretty safe. If he brings this pawn up, I've got this move to take that pawn. It's protected by the queen. And I could take that pawn anyway, even if he doesn't move that pawn up. He's got to figure out a way to protect that pawn. Now, pretty sure I can do this to good effect. Take his queen or his rook. Okay, yeah, we're doing okay here. I'm going to come over here in the corner, get my king out of danger. He's going to have to move his rook, and then I guess I'll get a pawn, and I can. Oh, I was calculating way, way, way too fast. Not going to do any of that stuff. I thought I was. He's actually got a pretty solid position right now. I'm going to bring this pawn up and try to move the queen out of there before he can think too much. And then after that, I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna chase his queen around a little bit and maybe just keep looking at the game and see if I got something that might happen. Some kind of possibility. I gotta get these rooks into place, so it looks like I've got, I don't know, it looks like I got more pieces on the board than him for some reason. I don't, but it's just because my pieces look like they're more coordinated and all over here together. Now, right now, this looks like a pretty good move because I would like to bring the bishop right back to here, threatening this pawn with the rook and the bishop. And then I'll be able to get that queen and bishop skewer again. That's looking kind of strong. Hey, you're here, right? Ah, wait, hey. This is it, man. You're here. Good to see you there, my friend from Sorel, Serbia. Did you bring any games to analyze tonight? That'd be cool. Um, 2 minutes and 35 against 2:11. I guess we're doing okay on time. What should I do now? I guess this, right? Move this up. Will that really help me? I think this is my best move. Because I didn't like that defender on this pawn. Now if I come up here, force his rook out or something. I think that looks pretty strong. Because see how I get both of his rooks at the same time, like in a forking situation? Now I could come up here, but he can protect that pawn. I think it's better just to win the exchange, maybe? I don't know. If I come up here, I can still win the exchange, right? Because he would bring his queen here. I don't know. I don't want to think too much. I don't want to overthink it. I'll just do that. And he can't take that either because you see what I got here with the queen and the rook lined up on this pawn. So maybe I just, win a rook. And my king is kind of tucked away in the corner here, pretty safe. And I think I'll just bring the rook the bishop, like all the way back. Why not? I'm a rook ahead and time is looking okay. I'm going to do I'm going to keep the queen protecting this pawn, but at the same time offer a queen trade, and he does the queen sacrifice. Well, no, that was not a sacrifice at all. It's just he left his queen hanging. So that was all right. And just like always, you could see the pattern going up at the end when I won, and then the flat line. That's a little artifact with the software, but it's a nice by Morphy. All right, let's do it. My friend from you got a bug. It's a bug on my screen. That took him off. Let's see. Okay, chess games. Always getting bugs. Computer bugs. Okay, can you guys see? Let me see what I'm doing. Okay, so I think I should bring it because here I can't do I can't, we don't have stockfish over here, I don't think. I'm just going to copy it and bring it back over to, I'm going to bring it back. I mean, there is an engine here. I mean, can you actually just click it and does it give you a chess engine or something? Yeah, I think it's better. I think you got the best advice. Okay, I still got my I still got that working, so I'll just import the PGN over to, it's a better idea. Okay, so get rid of this. And trying to get rid of this ad. I don't know why that appeared. Let me just refresh the screen. Maybe the ad will go away. Okay, there's Paul Morphy versus Scroofer. Schufer. Schufer. Okay, Italian game. 1859. Well, that's a nice day. Nice year. Okay, so I'm going to go down just a little bit and view. This is what I always do. I always view it and then do Control C, Control A, Control C, Control V, and then go back to the Lichess. Go to Tools, Import Game, request a computer analysis. Brainwaves, it's kind of cool that I've done this before and I'm feeling comfortable about doing this. And you saw how the brainwaves just got so synchronized, just like following each other in parallel. Okay, now I'm just going to go over to the Twitch. I guess you guys can see, yeah, you guys can see it good, right? I'm just looking at the Twitch here. So I got everything on the screen. I got to get the stockfish better in the screen. I'm going to make the board just a little bit smaller so that the stockfish graph appears. If I make it too small, it disappears again. So, you know, Lichess is a really nice user-friendly interface, but the one thing, the only thing that I don't think is very user-friendly, at least I haven't figured out yet, is how to make the graph appear in stockfish at the same, you know, and you gotta resize the board in different ways. I don't know where the graph went to. Oh wait, analysis board. Oh, Paul Morphy's over here, right? Okay, now I see it. I was doing the wrong screen. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we can see the whole. Oh, I can make this kind of big because on this game we don't have to look at all of black. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger so everybody can see it, including me, because we don't have to look. See, there's nothing below the line. It's all white winning. All right, so we're gonna do this. This is Paul Morphy. Going to introduce this game just a little bit better. Um, this is Paul Morphy versus a guy named Schroofer. And the nickname of this game is Smother Nature. Smother Nature. Kind of like Mother Nature, but I guess somebody gets smothered in this game. Smother Nature. And it was played in Paris, the City of Lights, in 1859. And in a kind of a interesting exchange of nationality, it was played in France, but it was an Italian game and a Scotch gambit. So there you go. A lot of countries are in this game, and you got a guy named Anderson. Anderson was he a some kind of a Scandinavian? So it's like all of Europe is in this game. So okay, 1859. Let's analyze it. So here we go. And if I miss anything, point it out to me, please, in the chat, because so it's one of those king pawn openings, and there you go again that knight. I never do that because I like to play the king's gambit, but Morphy sure liked that move. Wow, every game we've been analyzing by Morphy, he brings that knight out there. I guess he thinks that's a strong move. It does attack that pawn, and then black has to defend, and I guess you kind of like keep black busy defending, trying to attack at the same time. No, I was just going to point that out, that there's other moves. I just went back. It's white's move now after black came out here. Black's got his 2 knights out. The 2 knights in these positions control all the 4 center squares. Do you see that? That knight controls these 2, and this knight controls these 2. It's a kind of an asymmetrical game because white doesn't have a similar position. But sometimes white comes up here to protect this pawn that just got attacked. They come up here, or you can also defend it with this. But this is interesting because Morphy just comes flying right up through there and leaving this pawn for the taking. So suddenly, right from the opening, we have, but it's not asymmetrical on Stockfish at all. You can see right there, it's 0-0. The only thing we can't see on the graph though is down here. I'm going to move it down a little bit. Okay, so Schroeder had some blunders, and that's why he jumped up. But apart from that, he didn't have mistakes, just a couple of inaccuracies. Paul Morphy had 2 mistakes. Where are they? Let me see. Oh, right there. It was interesting mistakes. We'll see why he made those. He had a big advantage and then dropped it, and then another big advantage and dropped it with the mistake. So here we go. Paul Morphy, never the one to sit back defending. He really flies up through there. And he's got great development. He's already castled. Black wins his pawn. Yeah, German. Oh, Anderson was German. Okay, yeah. With a name like that, I was wondering maybe Scandinavian, but German. Okay, so here we go. Brings up the knight to take that pawn. He's got that pawn that he wanted, but is he really going to get what he wants? Stockfish suddenly has, not suddenly at all, but just still even. Yeah, Adolf. Yeah, Adolf. Adolf is, yeah, you're right. His first name is Adolf. So there we go. You got his pawn, and you would expect when you win a pawn, it seems like your rating would go up on a Stockfish, right? But it didn't. So obviously there's some positional stuff at play here. And there you start to see the positional stuff. White has a completely open file on the king and blocking this. The only thing blocking it is the knight, which is being attacked by the rook at the same time. So, there's different ways to defend that knight, but he's going to have to defend it. If he doesn't want to lose it, he can't move it. So let's see how he defends it. He brings that pawn up. If the bishop takes the pawn, then black is going to have to retake with the queen if he wants to keep defending the knight. But you can see that if he retakes with the queen, um, it could be okay because white doesn't have this move to attack it because of this pawn here. Oh no, he does have that move. If he retakes with the queen, white can move this knight up because if pawn takes knight, then queen takes queen. The queen is unprotected. So let's see how that goes. Um, did I play that right? Yeah, that's what I was saying. So there, he takes the pawn, queen takes. Okay, knight comes out like I was thinking, and you see the knight. So Morphy took that pawn with his bishop, lost a bishop, but suddenly the knight comes up attacking the queen and the knight that's pinned. So, he gets his piece back plus the pawn, and plus might be flabbergasting his opponent a little bit, taking the wind out of his sails. Um, yeah, by not castling. Black is playing with fire. And not only is he not castling, he can't even castle in the next move. He's flanked by each of the bishops. He's going to have to move a bishop even before he can castle. So, yeah, black is fighting for time right now. And White can actually put him in check right now if he takes with the rook. If he does that, the bishop can just block. And there's some other ways to attack the bishop, but he can advance this pawn up. I don't know. I don't see I think he takes, and if he takes with this, I don't see the snazzy continuation. Morphy normally has like a really snazzy continuation. Let's see what he does. Um, okay, he just took with the knight, which was kind of like the obvious conservative move because you don't want to bring your rook up there in the center unless you have a good reason. And okay, was that that's kind of an interesting move too, right? Because he has this attack coming up the center file. Black blocked it, but now the knight comes over, expecting to open up that center file against the king again, and the knight being defended by this bishop. So Morphy just keeps the pressure along that center file. Now black could have castled right there. I'm just going to go back. Okay, so remember what happened? That Morphy just moved his knight over here, like we were talking about, putting pressure on the file. And again, black is playing with fire, just like Zorro was just saying to us. Oh, look, I don't know why that thing comes on sometimes. I got my speech recognition program on, and it just starts to, do all kinds of commands and stuff. Oh man, but now it's frozen. Oh, I'm really sorry about this. I don't know why it comes on by itself. I had it closed and then just comes on. I use this Dragon Natural Systems and I had to turn it off with I use it, and I guess if you have like the expensive version, you can turn off some of the features, but I use the cheap version because it does just about everything I want, but you don't have as much control over it. Okay, let me. Hmm. Yeah, no, you don't have a lot of options with this cheap version. I just never invest in a really expensive Dragon. Okay, I'm going to turn it off using the task manager. What else can I do? Because it's completely frozen. It's got the microphone green turned on and it's listening to everything I say and probably typing all of my commands into internet or something through whatever program it feels like opening up. Because that's another thing you can't control about it. You can't control if it's in dictation mode or in command mode when you have the cheap version. Oh, now it's giving me stuff like it's doing something about my user profile. Okay, let me just turn this thing off and we'll get back to the game. I got no choice. This is Dragon Systems' fault. It's not my fault. Oh, there. It turned. At least I got the. It's asking me to please say it again, even though I got the microphone red. I can't turn it off. Everything is kind of like. Even my manager is frozen. But I think if I'm lucky, I'll just go back here and hopefully the chess game is the only thing that's not frozen. Let me see. If it's still working, we can play chess. Okay, now I got to minimize this somehow that it just appeared out of nowhere. You see, that's what the Dragon Systems did. It just appeared out of nowhere and did all of this. I got a million spectators in uh, in Leech. Yes, I guess so. Let's see. Um, I got to make this a little bit smaller so it fits on the screen so we can see the graph. And I had that all configured, and then let me make it a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. And then I had everything configured perfect before Dragon Systems came to the rescue. Wow. I think the only thing I can do is take this game because this thing is so deconfigured. I'm going to take this game and I just copied it and I'm going to paste it over to this other one that should be configured in the normal way because it's hard to configure these things. And now I guess now I got to go back and no, it's all yeah. I pasted the configuration now wrong. I mean, I guess when you paste a game, you paste the configuration along with it for some reason. I'm gonna have to configure this game somewhere where we can see it. Like I'm pushing control. Oh, okay, finally. Okay, that's good enough. Finally. Yeah. Okay, I guess we're doing okay here. Um, we got a bunch of spectators and leeches, and that's cool, but it's hard to chat in two places at the same time. If they want to come over here, we can chat with them. So, okay, let's keep clicking through this thing. My dragon system apparently is off now. So, I'm just going to click back to where we were. So, that's basically where we were. And then we clicked here. The knight came over, putting more pressure on that file. Instead of castling, Leach's Stockfish was saying to castle, but instead he brought his bishop out here. I guess his idea was, well, if you keep putting pressure on that file, I'll just come out here and threaten the thing that's giving me pressure. But then Morphy just decided, well, I'll trade a rook for that. And now that was an interesting trade because you see, he traded a rook for a bishop and a pawn, which is not too bad of a trade. If you add it up, a bishop and a pawn are worth about 4. A rook is worth 5. But Morphy got the advantage that his knight is sitting here. And again, the king can't castle. First, it was flanked by the bishops and couldn't castle. And now the knight is protecting on both sides. It can't cross either of those squares. And you see right there on the Stockfish graph, that's the big blunder by Schruber, because Morphy can protect his knight and attack the queen at the same time. And this was Morphy's second mistake. Morphy just had 2 mistakes, and that was about the only mistakes or blunders he made. He was supposed to develop his bishop, and he brought his queen out. He lost a little bit of a point there, but not too bad. And and Schruber made a slight mistake there by bringing that back, but not bad. And now the knight came over and took this. Um, that was actually inaccuracy. There was a better move, but we won't second guess Paul Morphy. He decided to take it. It actually doesn't look like a bad move to me because he puts it in check. The king's got to move. The queen can't take the knight because the queen is pinned. And the king moves out of danger. And then the knight, comes back, gets the check again. So wins a pawn and returns to the same position. It doesn't look bad. But instead of moving over here with the Stockfish move, the king comes up because I guess he didn't want that check. And now look with the stockfish, it's just going to kind of like stay equal the next move. I, for the life of me, can't really see exactly where Morphy should move, except maybe out here. If he moves up here, the king's going to have to go back to the back rank. That's probably the best move because the king's got to go back to the back rank, separating the rooks again. And it's almost like, he's still not castled. I think that's the nail that Morphy's been hammering on is he's not going to let black castle. So Morphy is usually hammers the same nail a lot. So there you go. He comes out, puts that king in check. The king's got to go back to the back rank. The queen cannot interpose because it gets taken by the queen. And now there's different things that can happen. Stockfish is saying that the knight should come up here. Morphy instead brought the knight up here. Well, that's an interesting move, huh? I can't figure that out. Like, why did he bring the knight up there? It just gets taken by the queen, right? There's got to be something that I think what happens here is probably a skewer with the bishop somehow. Let's see if it comes up there and he takes this with the queen. Then the bishop can come out. See, I think that's a sacrifice of a knight to just give the space for the bishop to come out, checking the king. But then this can come back. And if this comes back, it kind of stymies the position, except he has this move to check the king. Okay, let's see what happens. It's hard for me to calculate all that. So he comes up there, gets taken. Okay, the bishop comes out like I thought. And then what happens? Let's see. Exactly like I was saying, but I couldn't really see what came after that. Now we can see better. If you come up here, check. Obviously, the king should not go over here because it's going to be a nasty discovered check of some kind. Or maybe he could. Like if he goes over there, what can he really do? He can't discover the check and win a queen. He could come here. Um, he could just get like a smothered mate, maybe, or something. Maybe he gets a smothered mate out of it. I don't know. What happens if he comes over here and the king goes over there? So then he comes up here, check. The king can't come back. It has to go over here. Then he could come up here. The king has to come back. And then he gets a double check here. And again, the king has to go over here. Yeah, no, it's not it is a smothered mate, isn't it? Yeah, it's a smothered mate. Maybe that's how he won this game with a smothered mate. Oh, the nickname was Smother Mother, right? So that's it. And that's why I didn't see the continuation. Those smothered mates are kind of hard to pick up on, but that's what it is. It's a smothered mate. This knight's going to come up here. The king can go over there. The knight comes back here. The king cannot come back over. It's got to go over there. The knight comes here. The king comes here. The knight comes here. The king cannot come over here because it's checkmate. The king's got to go over here. Yeah, I finally connected the dots. That's it. That's a pretty cool smothered mate. Usually these smothered mates happen on the king side for some reason, and you don't really look for them much over there. And but that's a cool smothered mate. Really cool smothered. Okay, let's watch it play out and see what he does. I think it's like basically a forced thing now, right? Oh, this is interesting though. It's still 0-0. It's still 0-0. Schruber didn't lose the game. It's just 0, 0, 0, unless he blunders, and you can see by the stockfish he blundered. Now, seems like he would have been able to calculate that. I mean, it's not at this point, and you're playing against Morphy. You figure he's doing something, and you figure, well, if I go over there, something's going to happen. Um, so Stockfish is saying he should come over here. Oh, it's a draw probably. If he comes back over there, it's probably like, what can Morphy do? Like, let's just see what would happen if he comes over here. And we can turn this on to see. It'll tell us what the move should be. Okay, no, it's a different continuation. But now the knight can come here and then win the rook and kind of like equalize, I guess. And Morphy has, after he takes the rook, he's got this threat down here. So he's got a number of different threats. He can bring a rook over, and he equalizes in terms of material. So that's why they give it. It's still like 0, 0 from that position. But that's not what he played. Um, Black actually in the game decided to play the king over there. And there you go. You got the smother mother. What do they call it? Nature, smother nature. I don't know where they got the nature out of this little play on words. I can see the smother. I really don't know why they called it smother nature. Maybe because of the date. The date was it in the spring or something when nature is coming out? Um, just gonna look here to see what the date was. Smother nature. Can't see the date. So king comes over there, and here we go. That's check. Now it's a forced checkmate. Look, checkmate in 5. Checkmate in 5 move. King goes over. Knight comes back. King comes back. It's got one move. Knight goes over that direction. King goes back. And now, for those of you that have never seen smothered mates before, you got to see this position and memorize it, because this is a very dangerous position for black with a knight and close to the king like this and a queen on the diagonal. Because right now, watch what happens. The queen comes down, check. And you're probably all saying, well, the rook's over there. He can come and take the queen, right? The king cannot take the queen because the knight's here defending the queen. So if black wants to continue playing, he's got to take the queen. And again, the king is flanked. First, the king was flanked by 2 bishops. Then it was flanked on either side by white's knight, not allowing it to castle. And now it's flanked in a checkmate um, with white's knight in the smother position. So once again, we got a viewer from Serbia really came through with an excellent, excellent, excellent game. And that was a lot of fun. And I know it's probably 5 o'clock in the morning in Serbia and probably going to go on your day. In here where I am, it's already my bedtime. So without any more ado, I'm going to thank you very much for bringing the game. It was a lot of fun. And oh, it's 4 a.m. Holy. Um, but that was fun, and hopefully we'll see you around soon. And those of you who are watching, some of you are picking up the brainwaves tomorrow, because I got a lot of people interested in brainwaves, but because they live in parts of the world, it's hard for them to see the live broadcast. They come and watch them on Twitch later, just to zone out, watch the brainwaves mainly. But those of you who are doing that, just go ahead and follow me, because then you get those notifications by Gmail, and then whenever I'm on, boom, hey, there's the brainwaves, so I can go zone out watching brainwaves. So it's a lot of fun. Just follow, and you're all set. All right, so we'll see you around. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening. A nice morning. Thank you. Not thank me. Thank you. And bye bye.